Hey there, and thanks for joining us on Chicago Tonight, Black Voices. I'm Brandis Friedman. On the show tonight,
when there's a lack of communication, there's dictatorship.
Westside residents push back on a plan to convert a field house into a migrant shelter.
And the time is now to bring Chicago home.
A controversial tax proposal to help house Chicago's homeless population raises tensions inside City Hall.
What is this all about?
Modern problems require modern solutions.
And one-on-one with Chicago native and creator of the new animated series, Young Love. Now to some of today's top stories. Residents of South Shore and other South Side neighborhoods are taking legal action against the city to stop housing migrants in public spaces. The lawsuit was filed by community members saying they want the city to stop housing asylum seekers in locations like public schools, parks, and police stations.
So we're hoping that this whole process stops where they have these due diligence meetings in communities when decisions have already been made about the use of those spaces, that they actually, well, they're not listening to us, that we force them to stop flagrantly putting asylum seekers in already underserved communities in these spaces that are used by youth and elderly.
And we'll have more on the impact the migrant crisis is having on Black residents coming up. The oft-embattled head of the Department of Children and Family Services announces he'll be leaving the post at the end of the year. Governor J.B. Pritzker appointed Mark Smith to the job in spring 2019. The governor's office says Smith prioritized technology upgrades, grew funding for youth scholarships, and increased staffing to the highest level in 15 years for the agency. But Smith was repeatedly held in contempt of court for failing to adequately house children in DCFS custody. And just last week, a state auditor general report found lapses in timely reporting of suspected abuse, among other criticisms. Shootings and homicides continued to fall over September in Chicago, according to the CPD's latest data. The first 3 quarters of 2023 show homicides and shootings down more than 10% compared to the same time period last year. With 45 homicides in September, that's 12% lower than September 2022. Shootings are down 13% compared to the same month last year. The city has seen increases, though, in robberies, aggravated batteries, and criminal sexual assaults. NASCAR is taking another lap in Chicago. Mayor Brandon Johnson announces NASCAR's street race will once again return to Grant Park next July. In a statement, Johnson says race officials agreed to shorten the event's setup and tear down windows and to cover the cost for the city of staging the race. The announcement comes as city tourism officials announced the inaugural race added $109 million to Chicago's economy. Chicago icon and music teacher to the stars, Reverend Dr. Lena McLin, has died. McLin was a longtime choir director at Kenwood Academy High School and worked with some of the biggest names in music, including Chaka Khan, Mandy Patinkin, and Jennifer Hudson, to name a few. She was also the niece of Thomas Dorsey, known as the father of gospel music. McLin was 95. And a University of Chicago statistician is among the latest class of geniuses dubbed by the MacArthur Foundation. 40-year-old Rena Foigle-Barber has developed tools that test the accuracy of predictions made by machine learning on large and complex data sets. Foigle-Barber is one of 20 recipients that'll receive $800,000 to spend over 5 years, however they choose. Congrats to the geniuses. Up next, community reaction to the city's handling of the ongoing migrant crisis right after this.
Chicago Tonight, Black Voices, is made possible in part by Fifth Third Bank and by the support of these donors.
At Fifth Third, we believe when diverse voices are heard and empowered, communities are made stronger, lives are made better, and the future holds greater promise for all. That's why we're proud to support Chicago Tonight Black Voices. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can drive change.
City officials were met with anger and frustration at last night's community meeting amid a plan to convert the Amundsen Park Fieldhouse into a migrant shelter. Westside residents expressed concerns for current programming at the Fieldhouse and the short notice. It marked the latest in a series of contentious community meetings across the city as officials work to find housing for the influx of thousands of migrants sent from the border. Joining us with reaction on this and more are Zerlina Smith Members, president of the Quincy Strong Block Club and an Austin resident. Cheryl Miller, health justice organizer of South Side Together Organizing for Power, known as STOP. And Alderman Chris Taliaferro of the 29th Ward, which includes parts of Austin, Montclair, and Belmont-Cragen. Thanks to all three of you for joining us. Alderman, I want to start with you, please, because the Amundsen Park Fieldhouse is in your ward. What was your reaction to this plan?
Thank you. When I first heard about it, Brandeis, I immediately informed the Deputy Chief of Staff that this could not happen, and I strongly objected to it. There was no process whatsoever for me to engage, or the mayor's office to engage with the residents of the Austin community, and particularly in that area, Amundsen Park. So I was outraged, and I joined the community in their fight to keep this field house open.
And we mentioned there was very short notice given, and let's take a look at a West Side resident who expressed her concerns outside of Amundsen Park last night.
When there's a lack of communication, there's dictatorship. And I feel like that's what's happening right now. Yeah. It makes us look like we don't care for people, and we do. Yes, but the problem is, when you work all your life in this city, and you work and you retire, then you have an outing, which is your park district. Then you want to take that. We should not have to suffer. We are paying our tax money for parks and everything else.
Zerlina Smith Members, you live in this community as well. What does this field house mean to the community?
For Amundsen right now, well, just speaking of the black part of the Austin community, I live on the south end of Austin. I'm a resident and a constituent of Alder Taliaferro. It means so much to that part of that community and also the south side, because it has so many programs for not just our youth, our mothers, our parents, our seniors, and that community is predominantly home ownership. People have been there for years. They've invested their own money and time into that park, buying air conditioners, providing uniforms for the kids' programs, after school programs that Columbus Park doesn't have, which I'm close to. My daughter goes over to that park just to run that track. It's safer than Columbus Park, which is now a homeless tent shelter for a lot of our veterans and Chicago homeless people. So that park is a hub to the Black Austin community. And that's where we go to vote at as well, to elect our elected officials.
So it means a lot to the community.
It means
obviously.
a lot.
Cheryl Miller, we saw a similar community reaction in Woodlawn when, under the Lightfoot administration, there was an attempt to convert Wadsworth Elementary, the former Wadsworth Elementary, into a shelter for the new arrivals. Why do you think we're seeing this sentiment from the communities when this happens?
Well, in terms of Wadsworth, there was a lot of concern because community members had been asking for Wadsworth to be turned into a community center. It was very unpopular. Rahm Emanuel's decision to close Wadsworth was a very unpopular one. So I think that the way the setup is, people do end up being pitted. Communities end up being pitted against each other around issues of resources.
Alderman, what are you now hearing from Mayor Johnson and his administration on this plan for Amundsen Park Fieldhouse?
Well, I think the mayor has a tremendous amount of responsibility. They are and when I say they, the migrants are going to continue to come into the city of Chicago. In fact, I believe there were 12 buses today. And if you multiply that by 50, and then we're getting on average 40 to 50 buses every week. The mayor has a tremendous responsibility. And I remember, Brandeis, and I'll say this very quickly. When my first child was born, my wife and I had no idea on how to be parents other than what we've read. And we took a child home wondering, okay, what next? In the same way, Mayor Johnson has a tremendous responsibility in caring for folks that come into Chicago, not only just caring for them, but their safety, their well-being, their security. But at the same time, we have to have a democratic process about utilizing public spaces to house them and to shelter them. You can't take a valuable resource from one community a community that richly deserves that resource, to give it to someone else. So I understand the responsibility. I understand the compassion and how we must lead with compassion. But at the same time, we are a democratic society where democracy rules, and we have to make sure we're getting our community involved in how we move.
Zerlina, how do you think the city could better handle caring for the migrants without creating this sense of division that communities are experiencing?
They're not creating a sense of division. It looks like they want to create riots in the black communities among race riots, because you have a bunch of individuals, and they're people too. Let's be clear, they're people that are coming here looking for something better, the great American dream. When the people here in these communities where they're putting the migrants at don't even have a chance at the American dream any longer. They've raised our property taxes. They have raised our fuel, our groceries. This community is a food desert. Let's be clear. They closed some of our schools in the last 50 school closing. The alderman knows that crime is rampant in the 29th Ward. A lot of the numbers that you hear are some of the numbers that are not being reported because the police don't show up to the crime. They're being babysitters right now in the 15th district to watch and just oversee migrants. The resources for us to call the police for our basic necessities and safety is no longer there. When you look at what's about to happen, if they continue to take resources from any more communities, because the Latino community don't even want the migrants there. They're pitting people against people for the bare minimum. We don't have anything already, and they're going to continue to raise our taxes and put it on the backbone of the Chicagoans. Give us what we deserve. We need more city services. We need cops. What they need to do is put them downtown in the old federal building across the street from City Hall, where the mayor and his whole team, who seems to have a clue as to what's going on and not involve anybody, put them across the street, get the $500 million back from J.B. Pritzker to get from the federal government.
Cheryl Miller, how do you think the city should be handling this?
Well, one, I think that the city has, along with Governor Pritzker, has started to make demands on the federal government. The federal government must do more. The amount that the administration is given towards resolving this is not enough. And also, we have to look at why are Venezuelans coming. There is actually a movement in Venezuela of the right to stay. We need to, the Biden administration could end this crisis by letting up on sanctions that are destroying Venezuela and forcing people out. So I think that we really need to push on the federal government, making the changes that need to happen, and giving us the resources that we need to handle what's happening, as well as the state government.
Alderman, we know the mayor has signed a $29 million contract to build the winterized so-called tent city to house migrants who are currently living in police stations. Do you think this is the right move? What could the city be doing better and differently?
Brandy, that's just where we are. You know, we're getting so many migrants that, especially going into our winter months very soon, we have to come up with some solution. I disagree with using tents, but that may be the only solution that's available to us, and that's heated yurts or heated tents. And so it's a matter of necessity at this point. We don't have the public facilities to house them in unless we close down every single Chicago Park district. So I think, you know, we, just as New York has, we are moving out of necessity right now, especially with 3 or 4 months away from extreme cold weather. Where do we put them in the meantime?
Okay, I'm sure that is the several $100 million question that the city of Chicago has to answer. Alderman Chris Taliaferro, I know that you've got a community meeting that you're getting to, so thank you for joining us. Zerlina Smith members and Cheryl Miller, thanks to you both for joining us. Up next, a controversial tax proposal clears a key hurdle inside City Hall. Heather Sharon with that story next. The proposal known as Bring Chicago Home cleared a key hurdle at today's city council meeting. The plan would hike real estate transfer taxes to help fight homelessness, and today's action moved that proposal a step closer to the March ballot, but not without things getting heated. Here's some of the debate.
Bring Chicago Home is a blank check to increase taxes on businesses and residents in every neighborhood without a transparent plan to address the issues of homelessness in Chicago.
These landlords have been raising rent way before Bring Chicago Home was introduced, okay?
It is not Chicago City Council without some booing. Heather Sharon joins us now with more. Heather, remind us what this proposal would do.
So right now, if you sell a property worth $300,000, you will pay the same real estate transfer tax as somebody who sells a property worth $1 million. So supporters of this proposal say that is not fair and it's not equitable. So they want to raise the taxes on those $1 million properties and lower the taxes for properties that sell for less. And that will create about $100 million fund that Mayor Brandon Johnson says he will use to address the root causes of homelessness, to get people into shelter and to help care for them.
Mayor Brandon Johnson said again today that he was confident, though, that he had enough support on the city council to put this question to voters. Let's listen to what he told you.
68,000 people are unhoused in the city of Chicago. It's an embarrassment. Everyone agrees. And so, of course, you're going to have some push and pull. That's what democracy does.
Now, the number of unhoused Chicagoans is growing. Heather, why is that?
According to the Chicago Coalition for the Homeless, which is one of the authors of this proposal, Chicago's homeless population has risen 4% in 2021. Fully more than half of all unhoused people in Chicago are Black and another 30% of Latino. And Brandon Johnson was elected on a platform that promised to directly address that sort of racial and economic disparity. And he says this is the best way to do it. Of course, it's been complicated by the debate that you just had over the asylum seekers who are now sort of adding to that housing shortage and crisis, and it has really complicated everything.
Yes, it has. Putting this in the hands of voters, though, that's also complicated. What's the next step?
Well, now the city council has the power with a simple majority vote to put it to voters in the March primary ballot. And whether they will actually do so is the next major question. The debate is going to be fierce as sort of the business and development community mobilizes it against, as the progressive coalition sort of sees this as a major sort of fight, one that has been in the works since 2018 and was blocked throughout the tenure of Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
Okay, more to come. Heather Sharon, thanks so much.
Thanks, Brandis.
And you can read Heather's full story on our website. That's WTTW.com/news. Up next, Chicago native Matthew A. Cherry on his new animated series. But first, a look at the weather. You might remember the beloved Oscar-winning animated short film, Hair Love. It centered around a Black father navigating how to care for his daughter, Zuri, and her hair. Filmmaker Matthew A. Cherry expanded on that short film by creating Young Love, featuring Zuri and her family living on the west side of Chicago. Here's a look.
Baby girl, I know a thing or two about wigs, and you do not need one. You getting your hair done now. A good try.
I was just trying to help.
No need, because I am done. And you are ready for that red carpet, girl.
And there goes Regina King, looking fabulous and mature. And look over there, it's Yara Shahidi with one of the most elegant hairstyles I've ever seen. Wait, what is this?
And joining us now with more on his new series is Chicago native Matthew A. Cherry. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So, Young Love, it's set on the west side, specifically West Garfield. Why was that important to you?
Yeah, I mean, both of my sides of my family are from the west side of Chicago, you know, and when it comes to Chicago representation in mainstream media, especially when you're talking about Black Chicago, normally the south side is what gets all the representation. So, you know, I just really wanted to honor my family, kind of the life that it took, that they lived, and kind of how they had to struggle and come up. And, you know, it was good to show love to the west side, too.
Of course. So that means, you know, a lot of West Side Chicagoans will, you know, it'll resonate with them. But in what ways are you hoping the series might resonate with non-Chicagoans?
Yeah, it's just relatable. Like, Chicago is where I'm from. Like, we really just wanted to set it in a hardworking city that kind of just represented those strong Midwestern values. Shows about a young millennial couple and Stephen and Angela who were just coming off this health scare. They're trying to get back into the mix. They're 26 years old, and they have this young daughter that they're trying to be present for. So they're both trying to achieve their dreams, but they're also really trying to make sure that they're giving their daughter a good life too. So we have some new characters, Loretta Devine and Harry Lennox, Chicago's own. Also starring it as new characters as Zuri's grandparents, and we have Tamar Braxton and Shirley Ralph. So just a really dope show that's fun and fun comedy for the whole family.
So going back a little bit, because with Hair Love, you fit a lot of story and a lot of emotion into just a few minutes. How'd you do that?
Yeah, just the power of animation. Got a great team and had a new story we wanted to tell, and we wanted to make sure that this hairstyle that Zuri wanted to be super impactful, and the fact that the mom kind of lost all her hair dealing with chemo was something that I've seen before. You see the big chop and just how impactful hair is to Black people specifically, and just felt like a really great part of the story to kind of drop in on this family. And now she's feeling better and getting back to work in the show.
Hair Love was born out of wanting to promote hair love among young, men and women of color, young Black people, obviously. Let's talk a little bit about how much of our hair is wrapped up in our identity as Black people.
Yeah, I think it's all of it. In the show, we really try to showcase just the full range, from people with, natural cuts to locks to no hair, to weaves and kind of everything in between that just makes us who we are. At the end of the day, it's like whatever makes you happy and gives you that full confidence, we're all for it.
Did you ever think that there's sort of a lack of representation in what we see on television and in the media and movies with regards to our hair?
Yeah, for sure. I think there was definitely kind of a movement in the 80s. Everybody was trying to straighten their hair and, try to conform a little bit to the beauty standards. Obviously, there was a lot of heat that people caught, rocking afros back in the 70s and things. So, I think it's just all evolution. Now we have so many amazing talent that are rocking these natural hairstyles, Issa Rae kind of being right at the forefront. And it's just cool to see, like, with the Crown Act and all these different things, just these movements that allow us to be who we are. You can wear locks and work at certain jobs, and it wasn't like that always. Like, even certain schools are like trying to tell people they can't graduate if they have certain hairstyles or braids. So it's just crazy. And, thankfully there's been attention made to it. So now we can get back to being ourselves.
Yeah. Young Love picks up where Hair Love left off. And I started watching Young Love with my 10-year-old son, and he told me I can't watch any more of it without him. We know that in the show, as we've discussed, 6-year-old Zuri is the daughter of Stephen Love, voice of Scott Mescudi, also known as Kid Cudi, and Angela Young, voiced by Issa Rae, as you've said. Give us a little bit more about the story that you're trying to tell with them. We've talked about the city, obviously, but it seems to me also the hair is its own character.
Yeah. Yeah, we just really wanted to represent for young families, young fathers that have tattoos and don't look like your typical father that was presented in the sitcoms back in the day. But, that's me. Like, I got locks, I got tats. Like, I show up for my daughter 100%. And it's less about how you look and just more how you show up. And so, yeah, it's just an extension. We get a chance to see Steven in his world, trying to be a music producer, trying to come up in the city. We see Angela working in the natural hair salon that she works in, trying to kind of get back from this illness. And the whole season kind of follows her journey and just trying to get back to who she was and feeling like she's lost a lot of time. And Zuri is Zuri, just super confident. She's the type of Gen Z kid that wants to change the world. And she sees a problem, she's going to try to fix it. So it's a really fun show. And it's definitely something that both adults and kids can watch.
Yeah, she's a precocious little person, isn't she? So you yourself, you've had an unconventional career path. You went from being a former NFL wide receiver to an Academy Award-winning filmmaker. A few seconds left. When did this passion for you begin?
Really just growing up in the city, obviously just growing up watching great movies, so many amazing local video stores that we used to rent movies from, and just, wanting to be able to tell my own stories too, showcase the side of things that you don't really get to see. Chicago gets such a bad rap in mainstream media, and it's cool to put something out in the world that showcases the positive side of kind of Black Chicago and just how families pull together to make things happen.
Okay. Matthew H. Harry, thank you so much for joining us. We'll leave it there. We look forward to next time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And you can stream the season finale of Young Love tomorrow on Max. And that's our show tonight. Join us tomorrow night at 5:30 and 10 for Chicago Tonight Latino Voices. Now, for all of us here at Chicago Tonight Black Voices, I'm Brandis Friedman. Stay healthy and safe, and have a good night.
Closed captioning is made possible by Robert A. Clifford and Clifford Law Offices, a Chicago personal injury and wrongful death firm whose attorneys embrace a culture of philanthropy and service by volunteering their time, expertise, and guidance to help others in the greater Chicago community.